Hello and welcome to the Nerd Council, your home for everything nerd culture. Hi, my name is Ludo.
My name is Timmy.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Rasheen.
As you are back, obviously we stopped recording last 2 months of last because was working on the men's mental health gaming spot panel, but we're back in the new year, back to go. How you guys been?
Bruv, I can't even lie to you. It's been long. I can't even lie. Like the last December to January, the whole transition hasn't been as good as I thought it would be. Yeah, especially because we're going to another lockdown, and we're still dealing with the corona, and it's March time is going to be a whole year since we've been doing this kind of
whole year
pandemic thing. Bruv, it's long, but we're here and we still got content to make. We still got shit to do for you guys. So it is what it is. But yeah.
Maybe Rush, how you been?
Yeah, I've been okay. Same really. It's I feel like before the other lockdowns, so for those who don't know, we've had 3 lockdowns in the UK. It just feels like I was waiting for those ones to end. And then now this one's come along, and because it's just so it feels like this is just how it is now. Yeah. So I'm getting I've been watching YouTube a bit more. In the other ones, I was like, right, I've got to start thinking about when it finishes, but I'm not sure when it's gonna finish, guys.
We're tier 20 now or something. I don't know. It's every week.
Not to be negative, but it's not that I've checked out, but I'm kind of chilling a little bit now because it's just a bit right. I'm not. Yeah,
I'm over it. Just over
Ryan,
it.
what's beginning on your end, Ryan?
Well, I'm still working, innit? I've not stopped working since the start. I've worked through all the lockdowns, so to me, obviously, life's kind of changed a bit, but not that much. I've still got my routine, innit? Yeah. Still go to work and come home, so I think it's been a little bit easier for me in that sense.
I was going to ask that. Do you think work or being able to work has helped deal with, especially being able to work outside of home? Do you think that's helped with dealing with the whole pandemic?
100%. Because if I was just stuck at home all day, then I think it would be worse for me. I think working, keeping me busy, keeping me active is a lot easier for me.
I get that.
Is it a bit uncomfortable going outside though, if you don't if you was worried?
I'm used to working every day with people. I mean, we had customers come back in pretty quickly as well. So we've even got customers at work. So I guess I'm just kind of used to it. Yeah. I mean, public transport, people tend to keep their space anyway. So you don't really have to worry about that too much. People kind of know. Someone won't sit next to you. People would just rather stand. So it's kind of easy in that sense.
All right, cool. Let's get into the poll question. And the
polls are back. Polls are back, people.
So we asked, is Grogu a crappy name? For those who don't know, Grogu is Baby Yoda from The Mandalorian. And it seems like 59% of you guys said no, and 41% said yeah.
So I think we all think, well, I don't know about everyone. I don't like it. But
I don't like it.
Yeah. I guess that was
wrong with it.
It's okay. Do you know what it is for me? Okay, so in American Dad, Roger has a kid, and the kid's name is I think it's Grogu or Rogu. The kid's name is Rogu, and every time I hear Grogu, I just think back to that, and he's a creepy little thing, and I'm like, I can't associate Baby Yoda, who is the most amazing character ever, with that character. So he's Baby Yoda from now until the end of time. Grogu is a crappy name.
It just doesn't roll off the tongue
at all now.
And for me, with him being called Baby Yoda from the start, you kind of gain affinity to that name, and that name just rings bells.
That's what fans named him, though.
No, I call him. He's the child.
I think the child, Baby Yoda, same thing.
I think what has happened is
I would never refer to him as Grogu, to be fair, but it's not a bad name. But I'll just use Baby Yoda anyway.
See?
I just think the mysterious or the ambiguousness around him.
Yeah.
We don't really know anything about him because now that's being the layers are being torn off and we're seeing it. We're just a bit oh, that's not. Yeah, it's not that good anymore.
Was that it? Was that the big reveal? So someone said in a universe where someone's named Jar Jar Binks, can we really question someone being called Grogu? I'm you can.
Yeah, you can.
Point made.
Jar Jar Binks is a great name though. I think Jar Jar Binks is a great name. It's a bit more colourful than Grogu.
Grogu still.
Grogu sounds like an STD, bruv. Like,
Cool. We'll start off with some nerd news. You guys said about the Walking Dead Rick Grimes movie reported to have a hard R rating. What do they mean by hard R?
So
what does that mean?
So I think there's like, so a hard R is like there's no like kind of question between whether it be like an R rating or like a 15. I don't know, but like I'm guessing because of the bloods and the swearing and everything else.
Why do they say hard R though?
Why are you perpetuating him? You know what are you saying?
Hard R.
Like a hard R.
When we use the word hard R, what do we use it for?
Yeah, exactly. That's what when I read it.
That's why. I was like,
what?
Okay.
Rush, when you read it?
Sorry.
You said you're gonna say something when you read it?
No, I said yeah. When I read it, when I saw that was the news. That was what we was reading. When it said hard R, I was like, wait, what? What does that mean? Like, exactly. Are we talking? What are we talking about? Yeah, I was like,
Yeah, looking forward to a Rick Grimes movie.
No.
I've got no excitement for it whatsoever.
He's a great character, to get me wrong, but like, does he need his own film? What's it gonna be? Just him going like Carl for like 5 minutes and then shooting some zombies and Carl again and then crying about zombies and then Carl and more and then run away from. I don't know, man. I don't really want a Rick Grimes movie. Like I know
me personally, I'm always up for zombie movies, man. I always love zombie movies.
I do like a zombie
Walking Dead though. Do you like The Walking Dead?
Yeah, I like The Walking Dead, but zombie movies.
But have you watched it late? Like, would you say that you're like a fan of the show still?
Are you up to date?
No.
Okay.
Definitely not.
So that's my point. So the reason why I was just like a straight no and rolling off my eyes is because it's just a bit like, like, no disrespect, like my mum and my auntie watch Walking Dead. Do you know what I mean? Like they love it. Like it's like a soap. Like it's turned into like, it's just a bit naff and a bit like it was not as good as it was, and they've kind of bled it dry. And I think with the film, unless it's going to be a total revamp, and who knows? But yeah,
I think it could work as a TV movie. If it's a TV movie, then fine. But I don't think it needs like a whole like blockbuster production and trailers in the cinema and like a movie premiere. And like I don't need all that from a Rick Grimes movie, man. Just give me zombies and I'm good.
Give an original story.
It could literally be an hour and a half of Rick Grimes saying nothing and him just killing zombies. And you know what? I'd be happy. I'd watch that. I watch that. Give me an hour and a half of just straight zombie killing and him running away and then like him being like on his own, contemplating life. I'm good. I'll watch that.
Attack on Titan season 4 doubles down a surprisingly short episode order. 16 episodes. What's your guys' thoughts on that?
I was surprised when I saw this because like when like the first episode dropped, I was like, okay, cool. So how many episodes have we got left this season? And when I saw like 16, I was like, that's a bit strange because normally it's like 20 something, 25. Yeah. I mean, even season 3 was split into 2, but even season 3 was like 15 one half and like I think 12 or 10 the other.
Wasn't season 2 like 11 episodes or something?
Hold on.
Yeah, it was quite short.
Yeah, season 2 was quite short.
The first one was 24 episodes.
Yeah, season 2 was short.
For me, it's like... Go on.
Okay, yeah. For me, when I first read that news, I was like, that means from the manga, they're going to be missing out a lot of pieces out.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, yeah, that's my biggest worry. That's what I said going into it because I've already read it. Is the stuff that I was reading was quite a lot to take in, and I said if they don't have at least 24 episodes, then there's going to be a lot of stuff that they won't have a choice but to miss out.
Like we are what 4 episodes in, right? And it feels like we're still trying to cover stuff, or like this is trying to get to the point where they're like we've got to discuss like the 4 years time gap as well. I don't know how they're going to cover that in like the remainder of the episodes. So I don't know what to really expect from this season because it is so short. I mean, I just checked on Wikipedia. So like season 1 was 25 episodes, season 2 was 12, season 3, the first half was 12, the second half was 10, and then season 4 was just 16, which is it's too short for what you want to call like the final season of Attack on Titan when the manga has so much to it. Like, I don't know how they're going to cover it all because I think at this point, they're going to stuff it down our throats and then just be like, okay, it's done. Like, be happy.
Especially because I don't read manga, but I follow a lot of people that do read the manga. They say like even in season 4, when parts of things are being recollected and the stories are being told, so many things are being missed out already.
Yeah.
For sure. Especially there was one particular episode that stuck out to me, which was the episode with Reiner. When that sort of folks shows him back then. Yeah, there was quite a few bits that were missed out from the manga that I thought, it would have been a lot better if they had that in.
Did they ever say why they've why it's only going to be like 4 seasons? Did they ever say like why they only bringing out a 4th season, not a 5th one?
I don't know, to be honest.
No reason, no.
I mean, I think the story was obviously done, but I think how many episodes they decide to do and whatnot, I think it all comes down to like budgeting costs and stuff like that.
That can't be it. Ain't Attack on Titan one of the most popular shonen right now?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, it's one of the most popular mangas. Yeah,
it's like whole theme parks dedicated to. I don't think money is an issue. I don't know what it is because it just. I think maybe it's a time because Attack on Titan's taken so long. Like the first episode came out what 10, 11 years ago, roughly like that. Like it's been like a decade. We've been with the show for like a decade. No, 2013. So 7 years. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, 7 years. But
that's
even
still quite a while though.
That's still a long time.
Yeah.
That's still a long time. So I'm really not sure why they want to kind of rush this kind of final season when, to be honest, the final season is probably the most exciting of everything that's going to happen and stuff. So I don't know. I find it weird.
It's the combination of everything and seeing what things finally come to life.
Exactly.
What happens in the world after, you know, all the people on the island do what they do. All right, cool. Moving on. The Rock celebrates being the most likable person in the world.
When he says the most likable, who gave him that title?
There was like a poll, I think, on People Magazine and he was voted the most likable.
It's always
The Rock is the most likable person in the whole
I
wide
don't know who the
world.
other options were. I don't know who.
They didn't say. They just said he won.
Let's see.
I mean, like he was the reason why I watched wrestling when I was younger. Not just him, but like because the
Him and
Attitude
Stone
Era.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or just I liked Edge and Kane and like I liked all of them. So yeah, like he's got like a lot of nostalgia points for me, but like today in the present, I don't really think about him that much.
I feel like his appeal has declined a little bit as he plays more of these kind of like cheesy roles and stuff. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it will spike up after Black Adam, but I think he's been on like a steady decline in terms of like.
That's what happened. Yeah, I feel like the more he was kind of pushed in the limelight, the less kind of cool he got for me.
Yeah.
Like, it was like he's just not cool anymore. Like
there was a point where it's like, oh my god, the Rock, the wrestler is in his film. Oh, it's cool, and then it just became like, oh, it's just the Rock.
And they were shit films as well. Like they were bad. The first one, Welcome to the Jungle.
Bad. They were really bad films, man.
Cool.
What was the other one? Walking Tall. No, maybe not.
There's been a few. There's been a few bad films.
And with the gorilla.
Jumanji.
What's it called?
Yeah. I guess that's what I mean. I guess people like him because that's what I mean. He makes like family, easygoing films now.
Yeah.
Not just family, but even action films. You don't really have to process too much. You can just take it in. And
Grand Theft Auto Insider shares bad news about GTA 6 release date. So basically, we're still like at least 5 years minimum away from a GTA 6.
Yeah.
I don't think is that bad?
Yeah.
That's pretty accurate for them.
Think about when GTA 5 came out.
That's what I was thinking,
right?
yeah.
Then think about when they kind of launched GTA 5 online. Think how long it's been since then. Like GTA 5 came out when the PS3 was still about, right? So that's bloody hell, that's years. And then we still got to wait for GTA 6. Nah, man, I don't know, man. I don't know.
So obviously they were making Red Dead 2 in between that time.
Yeah.
Plus they make billions on GTA Online. So to a certain extent, there's no reason for them to kind of need to make
a GTA 6, yeah.
anything right now. But not right now, but I mean during that period of time. Plus they faced a lot of problems where they had to sort out their HR basically. A lot of toxic stuff in the Rockstar office basically. So I think they've taken time to sort that out as well. So they've got to refresh like everything and make sure that it's a fair playing field. And you know, there was reports of people going out. They go to the strip club with their manager, and it's all about who you have to go out for drinks afterwards. You have to do coke, and you have to do this. And yeah, it was
really
bad. Yeah. Like, and there was a lot of women who just felt like they were pushed aside because obviously it was a boys' club, so it's like they don't want to go to the club, so it's like they couldn't progress. And it was like, but not even just women, like even just men who were just kind of like, I don't want to go. So there was a lot of stuff they needed to sort out, and I think there was a big rejig, a big program cuts come in and sorted everything out. So I feel like they've just finished that, and then now they're moving on to GTA 6. But someone has said they've been working on it. There is stuff there.
What's the time gap between GTA IV and GTA 5?
Let's take a look, see.
Yeah, let's take a look. off the top of my head.
It didn't seem like it didn't seem like it was that long, and I would say GTA IV was
it didn't. I agree. Like from San Andreas, San Andreas to 4, it was quite a big gap, and then 4 to 5. Yeah, I kind of agree. Yeah, it didn't feel that long.
So GTA 4,
my dog Nico Bellic.
Yeah.
GTA 4 came out in 2008. GTA 5 came out in 2013. So that's a 5-year gap.
Yeah.
And
in between that time,
Vice City was 2002. San Andreas was 2004. So that's 4 years. GTA 3 was 2001. So there's a bit of consistency with it, but it's interesting to hear like all the crap that's going on with the rock star.
And I think that like honest reason, I think also one of the main guys he's left, that Dan has left, who's obviously one of the founders. So there's it was a whole big rejig with the whole, because Dan is the guy who makes like all the games. Like, I mean,
it's a small team, right? Rockstar, it's a small team, isn't it?
No. I mean, like the original, the guys who kind of oversee. So he produces all of the stuff. So he'll go to places and locations, and he does all the scouting, and he scouts all the music, and he does all the other stuff. But he's gone now. So like they've got to kind of get that authenticity back. You know, like they've got to make sure that it's going to be the same as it was. So I think that's obviously put a big like hole in their time. It's like stopped them from moving forward quickly. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff there, a lot of stuff to unpick. So that I don't expect one too soon, anytime soon.
What do you think will come first, the end of the pandemic or GTA 6?
I hope the end of the pandemic.
Fingers crossed.
It seems that a lot of people now are bored of GTA 5. They even all the GTA Online stuff. That's why people are like clamoring for a new GTA.
But I mean, they need to sort it out soon. Yeah,
but I mean, they can put out new content. Like
right, that's what I was gonna say.
Like they put out a new heist the other day. So
yeah, with
and even though you might not play GTA Online, the fan base on GTA Online is massive. So many people, they drop a new heist, people are gonna go back.
Yeah.
So
that's why they didn't. That's why they didn't make any. That's why it is hiatus pretty much, because they make so much money off of it.
I don't think they need to. I think
people buy copies. Oh, sorry. I
think they could still live off GTA 5 for a while. Yeah, I don't think they need to.
No, yeah, people buy copies of the game just to get the cards. So they just they'll put down like £35 just to get the exclusive, like the content that you get with it. So people will be buying the game time and time again, plus putting putting money down for shark cards and all of this and all of that. It looks terrible though. I watched a trailer of that new heist, and for me, it just looks awful. Like,
I'm not gonna lie, I managed to complete one of the heists before I'd already got bored of it and stopped playing online. Maybe like one.
No, I'm not saying it's probably still good to play, and if you like it, then like I'm all for it. And I love Rockstar; they're my favorite company. But it's just a bit like, when I look at it, it's just like, oh, you lead the way for the gaming industry, so let's come back. Let's do something new, guys. Let's do something new.
Totally true. The most anticipated film of 2021, and Morbius trends as fans debate the most anticipated film of 2021.
Morbius as the most anticipated film of 2021.
No, it just obviously his name kept popping up. So
right.
That either positively or negatively, people are talking about it and anticipating it.
I kind of see why, only because I feel like people know what to expect from like the MCU films as such, right? DC are still kind of a bit of like a moment, right? And then obviously there's the generic kind of film releases that you get throughout the year, whatever it is. But I think like with Morbius, there's this air of, okay, we've seen what Sony have done with Venom, which was interesting. How they're going to change that, because Morbius looks a lot more serious. I won't say Venom was like a comedy. Morbius looks more like a serious. I don't know. Serious is the only one I can think of, but it doesn't look like a traditional.
It's darker.
Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. It looks a lot darker as well. So Morbius is the most anticipated for good or bad reasons. I see it. I get it.
In all honesty, I forgot about it. So
when's it supposed to come out?
This year.
I couldn't even tell you the release date though. I've not an idea what month it comes out of. I completely forgot about it.
Cool. A Harvard professor says aliens visited Earth in 2017.
Don't believe him.
So apparently, alien came to the hemisphere, that our ozone layer said, "Oh, this is the ghetto. Yeah, I ain't coming back." What's your guys' thoughts on extraterrestrial?
I think that's great. If that one, I actually would have read that in the script, and then like, what we're gonna
let me find the article 1 second, because I need to read this myself. So he says,
yeah.
So Professor Loeb is set to publish a new book, Extraterrestrial: The First Sign of Intelligent Life Beyond Earth, in which he argues that Onunama was the first evidence of alien civilization out amongst our stars. Then he says, on September 6, 2017, it intercepted our solar system's orbital plane and came close to the sun on September 9th. I think what he's talking about is a planet or a star. I'm not sure. But either way, I think he's wrong. I think it's very wrong. But I will say this. I do believe that we are not alone in the universe, because the universe is just way too big. It's okay, put it this way. You could not use the words massive, gargantuan, gigantic to describe the universe, because I think it's so much.
We're doing a disservice.
Yeah, it's so much bigger than that. It's stupidly big. And then to say like there are only like 7 billion living entities with like quote unquote intelligence existing in this big void of nothingness. There we go. I think it's a bit cheeky. I think it's
what makes us so special, bro?
Exactly. Like who are you? Who are you to be saying that, oh, there's no other life out in the universe because what? You live on planet Earth. What's Earth, bruv? Like what's this? What is the solar system, really and truly?
In the grand scheme of things, Earth is just a speck of dust.
Really and truly. Like it's a speck within a speck within a speck within a speck. Like that's how like I won't say it's insignificant, but that's how tiny we are compared to the grand thing that is the universe. There must be life. There must be. Even if it's in its early stages, there must be life out there, man. I don't think we'll ever see it, but yeah. But no, aliens.
That's what I like about Rick and Morty, because like when they like how Rick puts everything into perspective, and you're like, oh yeah.
Michael Keaton will be the main Batman within the DCU, replacing Ben Affleck apparently.
Wait, what?
I don't know if it's changed, but I'll put it up as Michael Keaton will be the main Batman.
I heard that.
Yeah, no, he is. Yeah, that's pretty much confirmed at this point. He definitely is replacing him.
Isn't he like
so old man Batman?
Yeah, that's what they're pretty much going with, because I think they said that whoever plays the Batman in that movie will be like a mentor. He's going to do that role.
So what are you trying to tell me? Okay, so this is what you're trying to tell me. We're going to have no more Batman in the DCEU kicking ass, punching bad guys.
No, I don't think he's going to be kicking ass.
He's going to be like, so there'll just be like a new Batman, right?
Like Batman Beyond then?
No, not that old.
Oh, but Michael Keaton is old.
No, Michael Keaton's old. Mr. Michael Keaton's old guy.
Like
not like Batman Beyond old, but he's not that old. Come on, he's not Batman
Beyond
60.
Old. Yeah, he's like 60.
He's 69. He's 69. But
he's 69.
Oh shit! He's like, that is. I thought he was like 65.
He looked fine in Homecoming.
He old.
He played the Vulture.
Oh yeah, he was in Homecoming.
Yeah.
So it's not impossible.
Nah. I feel like he'd be the perfect guy to be like he's like Alfred, isn't he? He'd be like an Alfred, but Batman.
But I don't know why Ben Affleck's out. I don't know if that's because of his own like personal problems or whatever.
There seems to be a lot going on with Ben Affleck, Batman as a character, Batman as a role within the DCU. There seems to be a lot going on right there. So I don't know, man. I'm not okay. Not that I'm not excited, but there's potential for, obviously, there's Michael Keaton as an older Batman. Are we going to get Robins? Are we going to get Nightwing? Are we going to get
one of them decisions
family?
that comes across as it will be hard for them to make it make sense. Like it could be something that's hard to pull off. They could easily mess it up, innit?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Zack Snyder pitches his dream idea for a Marvel movie. He wants to do a Daredevil spin-off.
Not for me.
Okay. Like, what does that mean? What does that actually mean? What does a Daredevil spin-off mean? What does that mean?
I think it was about Elektra. Mainly.
I'm sorry. No disrespect to anyone, but I don't want to see an Elektra movie. Like I don't want to see an Elektra movie.
Just doing I don't understand why he just doesn't do an Elektra movie then instead of doing it through Daredevil. Like
you know, because Netflix did the Daredevil thing so well, I don't think that has to be tampered with.
At all.
They did it so well.
And isn't he going to be in the Spiderman film as well? I thought I had that he was going to be.
Yeah, he's been.
Yeah, he's been confirmed as the guy who's in Daredevil. Sorry, I don't know his name. The Daredevil in the Netflix series is going to be in the Spider-Man film.
Yeah, and Spider-Man's not supposed to come out until like December of this year, right? So I guess basically what that means is just like it's just confirmation more of the multiverse theory in it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Cyborg has been written out the script for the Flash, and the role will not be recast.
Yeah, I think obviously Ray Fisher's been doing a lot of talking recently, and he's basically exposing them because of how he's been treated, and I think that's obviously one of the repercussions. He's been written out of the script because I saw something before that he was going to be written out, and so they're just not going to use the character. And then he's not playing Cyborg and he's been written completely out of it.
Didn't he say something recently as well about Jeff Johns?
Yeah, about Jeff Johns and Walter, because they gave him a new contract, the president, and apparently he allowed it all to happen. So yeah, spare that. He's not really happy, innit?
He's not.
I don't blame him, man.
I don't mind.
But it seems that, do you guys remember when obviously the DC main guys like, oh yeah, all the DC main guys, they're all backing him, but now it seems like they're all gone quiet.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. I think apart from maybe Jason Momoa, I would have expected everyone to speak up pretty much. So it's a bit of a weird one.
It's not happening. But isn't the Flash movie getting cancelled anyway? I read recently that the Flash movie is getting cancelled anyway. So like, doesn't really matter at this point. Like, the DCEU is in a whole lot of shit, right? Like it's a mess.
It's just in flux right now. It's in flux, isn't it? It's in flux.
I'm sorry, it's not flux anymore. It's not flux. It's mess. It's a genuine clusterfuck. Like that's what.
Ryan, what's your thoughts? Is it in flux? Is it in flux?
It's a clusterfuck, bro.
I mean, the last movie they dropped, to be fair, wasn't that bad. But they have got a slate of movies they have put out. I mean, it was only like a couple of months ago at DC Fandom when the timeline was going crazy, saying how amazing it is. We still do know how much
movies.
Come on,
hold on. When I say
excited,
hold on. First and foremost, DC Fandom was amazing. Period. Now, when I say it's a clusterfuck, I'm talking about the structure of the DCEU in terms of everything going on behind the scenes, in terms of releases, in terms of whether or not movies are happening or not. I'm not talking about the actual content itself. I'm talking about the organization of what they've got planned. That's the clusterfuck for me. There's clearly disorganization. There's clearly a lack of cohesion.
100%. They've definitely obviously got big problems there, which they need to sort out anyway.
Right. That's what I'm calling a clusterfuck. I'm not saying the DC as a general is a clusterfuck. No. Again, DC Fandom got me hype. DC Fandom turned me to a DC fanboy for like 2 minutes. But all I'm saying is they just need to sit down, sort themselves out, and give us what we want and give us what we can expect from them. Because like at the moment, everything's just up in the air still. Even with like Wonder Woman coming out and coming and going in a sense, it's still kind of just like
big mid.
What really are we expecting from the DC EU at this point?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Wonder Woman was mid. It was trash. It was
mid.
Yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't good.
I'm gonna just like let you have that.
Are we gonna talk about that? No.
Do you know what? No. Let's talk about it. I don't know why it's not in the news. Let's talk about it. So. Obviously, me and Roshin saw Wonder Woman before it came out and stuff, which is great. Again, thank you, WB, for that. I thought the film was great. I won't say it's amazing. I thought it was great. There are aspects of it I enjoyed more than the first film. And I feel like the film is getting a lot of, maybe not unnecessary hate, but it's getting a lot of hate, which I wasn't really expecting because I generally thought that this film offered a lot more than the first film did. And I thought even the quote unquote, the third arc, or the third part of the first film that everyone kind of complains about, I feel like the third arc in this film redeemed that in a sense. I'm just still trying to understand why people dislike the film so much. I've not seen any concrete talking points about why people hate this film. Because it's
got loads.
Ryan, Ryan, let me know. Talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's discuss.
Do you know what it is? It's, the way the film was shot. I didn't like the way the film was shot. I don't care. There was an overuse of the slow-mo. So like when you see it for the third or full time, it doesn't look as good anymore. Come on, they're banging out the slow-mo. They don't need to use that much. Once or twice, that's it. Yeah. Okay. And there was one point where she was in midair, she was flying, and she just looked shit. It just looked shit.
I like the flying scene. I thought the flying scene was bad. Okay, you're reading. I thought the flying scene.
You know what? The
was...
lack of armor as well. The way they built up the armor for it to just.
Okay, true. The build up to the armor, I say, was kind of crap.
Because, that was very underwhelming. Come on.
Yeah, because I was expecting like a whole kind of, I don't know.
Exactly.
Like when Naruto arrives during the pain arc,
yeah,
and he does bits. That's what I was expecting from that.
Yeah, exactly, and it didn't happen.
Nah, it didn't happen. I'll give you that. But other than that,
praises Marvel for giving her full creative freedom on Eternals. She has thoughts on that.
So that again.
Chloe Zhao praises Marvel for giving her full creative freedom over the Marvel.
Chloe Zhao. Who's Chloe?
So as a director, she gets.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's cool.
I feel like that's what Marvel does best. They're very much like, okay, they're the director. Like obviously Kevin Feige's like, okay, this is the film, this is what I want, and the director's like, all right, cool. I can do that, but then I'm gonna add my own twist and shit there. Marvel does it well, yeah. I'm excited for Eternals, but I still don't know what to expect from this film because I don't know.
Do you think anything. That's what, when you say it's a clusterfuck, when you compare DC to Marvel, is that what you mean? Like, there's more positive. There seems to be more positive stories. Maybe this is Disney just doing the spin, but there seems to be more positive stories about production in Marvel than there are with DC.
Do you know what it is for me? Because for me, I always go back to this point where Kevin Feige planned out the MCU as far as I think it was Infinity War. Like that from the very beginning. Like he planned out this thing start to finish. He knew what movies he wanted to make. He knew the story he wanted to tell from the very beginning. I don't really get that from DC. I don't like who would you say is like the main person at the top of the pyramid who's like I don't get that from DC. There are a lot of people kind of like trying to
chase the formula of Marvel. Sorry.
Too many chefs in the kitchen. That's what it feels like with me for DC. There are too many chefs. There's no one person that's like in total control in the sense of the story, the narrative, the movies in a sense. Whether that's a joint decision by the board, whatever it is, it's fine. But I just get with Marvel is that Kevin Feige plans this shit out start to finish. You can see the vision, you can see where he's going with this thing. And maybe some films aren't great. Maybe some films are piss poor, subpar, whatever you want to call it. But at least there was a clear line and vision and timeline in place. That's why I say DC is in a clusterfuck, because there's no kind of clear leadership amongst. I mean, like, who I read something about the guy that's in charge of movies at the comic book movies, specifically at Warner Brothers. He said something about like how he's not even really into them or something. I can't remember what it was. I have to find the article, but he said something just about like, oh, he's just making the movies because of money, and like he don't really care so much about the comic books and the characters and this and the other. It's just about making money for WB. And I find that interesting because maybe that's the same about Marvel, but that's not really something that they're bringing to the forefront and telling people about. It's very much like, we actually care about these characters in a sense. We want to tell these stories. And I don't know, man. I don't really.
At first, for obviously DCEU, at first Zack Snyder, he was going to have the full creative control and freedom of the whole overarching universe.
Yeah.
But obviously the studio started meddling too much, and obviously they started trying to go with what the test audiences were doing. They're trying to meddle and chop and change, and obviously all the different directors for the different movies were coming together, and plus all the different schedules that the certain characters had. Like Henry Cavill, he's got his other stuff going on. They don't know what to do with Batman, Aquaman. Obviously, with the stuff happening with what's the name? What's the name? The domestic abuse issue.
Amber Heard.
Amber Heard. Yeah,
there's a lot of stuff going on. So basically, with DCU, it was like a perfect. All these things happened. It was a perfect storm of disaster. So in a way, it was kind of from the start, it was destined to fail, because how are you going to give someone creative control at the start, then go, okay,
what take it away from you?
For some reason, things are not happening. The public, the general public, not just comic people, the general public are not connecting with your movies. So we got to change your movies and chop up and change it and go completely different route and go take a completely different message.
Because, like, to be honest with you, I don't want it to be a case where like we're constantly trying to feed into this DC versus Marvel kind of conversational narrative, because at the end of the day, you can like both. I'm not trying to create that discourse, but if there's clear issues going on, in fact, there is clear issues going on at DC when you compare that to Marvel. And maybe that doesn't help things. Maybe it doesn't help in terms of this kind of whole like, you know, the DCEU is worse or better than Marvel type thing, or
and plus the DCEU coming after Marvel, it doesn't help as well the perception of what a comic movie should be, because obviously Marvel came out first. What their movie is a bit more lighthearted and whatnot, and DC is trying to take a darker, more, I'd say, mature side. And obviously general public, obviously people like us, we can appreciate what the world. General public were like, this doesn't look like we're used to, so we're not gonna like it. And the studios thought, whoa, we're missing a big trick here. We need to go a bit more lighthearted.
Yeah.
Messes things up.
It's like I said, it is a clusterfuck. I know I keep saying it, but it's the only word I can think of that describes exactly what's going on. It's just a big clusterfuck, and I just need them to organize themselves and just create the movie universe that we want and what we expect. I'm not even saying it in terms of like, okay, this is what Marvel did. DC have their own way and style of doing things, but make it work. And it clearly isn't working at the moment. They need to just reorganize themselves and maybe go back to the drawing board. I know kind of the Flash film is supposed to be like another soft reboot. Fine, let's do that. Let's get to that point where we get the soft reboot and just get things going, because what's going to happen is that you're going to get another 5-6 years of Marvel movies building up to another climatic major event, and DC's just going to get eclipsed again. And then you're going to get feedback into this whole narrative of like, oh, Marvel's this and DC's that. Like when people just generally want to be able to enjoy both. But at the moment, putting it frankly, it's hard to enjoy both because DC aren't meeting that standard. That like Ryan, like you are the DC
where you at?
Like where you at with it? Because like Ryan, you are the DC guy of the.
I hear the points in it, but for me, I think DC are being done a big disservice in it, because I think the bad movies that they have put out, admittedly, they have put out a few, they get a lot more flack for, as opposed to say Marvel do. Critics come from a lot more.
That's
so
true.
what you were saying about the narrative is already in place. Most people already feed into that anyway, and they'll watch the DC movie with the opinion that it's rubbish before they even watch it.
Yeah, that is true.
I'll say things happening at board level of DC doesn't help as well. Obviously,
for sure. You can see. I mean, we all see the articles. You can't deny. There's obviously problems. They've got to sort it out. I won't deny structurally the movies. There's probably stuff they could have done better. But with the stuff that we know is coming out later down the line, I'm still, I'm confident that it's still going to be good. The Batman movie, I still think it's going to be good.
Absolutely, I agree.
So I've got nothing to worry about.
Movie.
Robert Pattinson one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I'm looking forward to all of, like, there hasn't been a DC film that hasn't come out that I haven't been looking forward to. It's just about the execution of the films that sometimes is a bit like hit and miss. But like, I feel like, I know we're going on a major tangent here, but it's fine. But I feel like I don't know what it is, but I think we expect perfection from comic book movies, and when we don't get perfection per se,
it's easy to nitpick at stuff.
Exactly,
yeah.
It's hella easy. Like we start looking for holes everywhere and anywhere, and as soon as we find one, we just make a bigger hole out of it. And then I don't know whether it's entitlement or what we're used to in a sense, but because I bet you this, when Wandavision comes out, I've seen good reviews for the series so far. Don't get me wrong, but I bet you when Wandavision comes out, people are gonna nitpick to hell with that show, looking for issues, looking for problems.
Do you reckon?
I reckon, man. Because like,
I don't know. For me, the MCU stuff doesn't tend to get nitpicked as at much. People tend to just tend to lap it up and take it for what it is.
But no. Ryan, I'm have to push back there. They get nitpicked a couple years after they come out.
Sorry, what was that?
The Marvel MCU stuff, they get nitpicked a couple years after they come out. So when people start going back and watching it over and over again, that's when they start.
That's true. Yeah,
because
compared to a DC movie where they nitpick it from the start.
Because with the MCU films, we get them so regularly. Like we get films coming out like there was a point where it was like 4 films a year we were getting at one point. So because they were coming out so regularly, there was almost not enough time to really sit back and critique the films that come out. But with WandaVision, because I feel like we've gone through this kind of 11-year story and journey, we've had Endgame that blew up and everything else. It's gonna be like, well, you guys are now have to meet the standard of Endgame with every release, which is not a fair thing to do. I think personally, I don't think you can expect them to meet Endgame levels with every single MCU release because Endgame was that hype. But because it was, people are gonna be like, oh well, it wasn't Endgame. It was like this.
I don't think so. I don't think anyone is going to expect WandaVision to be as good as Endgame.
We'll see.
Or as big. Definitely
not as big.
Yeah,
but
it's still going to be as big.
Not as big, but I think in terms of essence, quality and keeping the momentum and hype from what Endgame was.
For me, like going into it, because I'm excited. It's one of like my most anticipated. Is obviously there's like headlines about it being slightly different, like the structure, how they structure it like a sitcom.
Right.
So for me, it's a chance for them to actually do something creative.
Yeah, for sure.
What they can do completely different to what they've done before. Show us something else you haven't done before. That's why I'm finding it interesting.
Yeah, I hope that's what I hope to get from it. Yeah.
Awesome.
So DC Future State launches. Someone care to explain?
This is Ryan's.
Ryan's bag. DC, their comics, their little latest event, which is the Future State, which you've got like new characters. So, for example, for the Batman one, it's now the Black Batman. You know, that was announced at DC Fandom.
Yeah.
So that's the line of comic books that's launched. So it's just a reminder for people that if you're interested, these comics are out. Go and find them.
So is it like is it a complete reboot of the DC universe, or is it just like a new introduction of characters? Because obviously, if you've got
just a new event,
because there's obviously like there's a new Batman, there's a new Wonder Woman, there's a new Harley Quinn, there's a new Superman. So like, is it like a complete reboot? Like, is this like
it's not a complete reboot? No,
right?
I think it's like a little one-time event, and then
so it's not like Rebirth then. It's not like Rebirth.
It's not Rebirth.
No.
Cool. So is this a good point for people to get into the DC comics or not?
Yeah, definitely.
Because
we've got the checklist as well, so we can post them for them to see. We'll tweet it. We'll tweet the checklist. But if there's anyone that wants to get into comics, now's a chance.
Cool.
This episode of the ELGATO podcast is brought to you by ELGATO and the new Wave 1 microphone. Now, I know you're probably thinking this is some generic podcast ad, but mate, you cannot deny the sound quality. The new Wave 1 has allowed us to deliver an incredible audio experience for you guys, while still allowing us to deliver the same great content you all love and enjoy. So go check out the new Wave 1 and see how it can improve your audio content. Now back to our episode.
We're bringing back a segment that, it truly deserves,
which I love.
For the last year. We're bringing back the Fuck Barry Allen segment.
Fuck Barry Allen. Okay, so for context, because I know...
Yeah, give some context.
So when we started the pod back in... I don't know, 10,000 years way back. We brought this segment called Fuck Barry Allen, where obviously the Flash TV show was going on a lot on TV. Everyone was watching it.
Most popular comic book TV show.
Yeah. But we found this thing like Barry's always messed up with the timeline and causing problems for everyone in it. So we thought that we're going to start blaming everything that happens wrong in reality on Barry Allen because he fucked the timeline up. So hence, fuck Barry Allen. So...
Fuck Barry Allen.
Fuck Barry. We put it on a t-shirt, but anyway,
we don't say it enough, innit?
We don't say it enough, because
maybe we should PG it like to F.
Barry Allen.
F Barry Allen. Okay, we can
the first sponsors for the sponsors.
Roshin will get it in editing. Roshin will get it.
The sponsors.
Sorry, ELGATO.
Rising.
Right, yeah. So obviously we still got COVID. I know it's a bit difficult to joke about COVID because COVID is such a serious thing, but I think it's a bit mad that we have so many cases of COVID increasing.
In London, it's 1 in 6 now, isn't it?
It's 1 in 16, I think it is. I think I read it. It's either 1 in 6 or 1 in 16, but either way, it's one too many. Stay at home, people. Stay at home. Yeah. Stay at home. That's what you should be doing. But it's been a long. I know we said it's the beginning, but it's been a long. I don't know if we're going to call it a long year. It's been a long pandemic.
I'm blaming Barry Allen for the one in 2020.
2020 was a hard year, bro.
2020 was hell.
2020. You know what's mad, yeah? When I think about 2020, there are moments where I'm like, okay, it was that day. Okay, that day was good, but the week was terrible.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes to this long cycle of good day, bad week, good day, bad week. And I don't know what to expect from 2021 anymore, you know? I think when the new year happened, it was the most anticlimactic thing.
Yeah.
For real, yeah. I think everyone's just glad to see the back of it, to be honest.
For real. Like, I don't know. I just want to go outside. I want to see my friends. I want to go to the club. I want to go to house parties.
You better forget about for the next year, bro. Forget about that, man.
I just want to go to the cinema, you know. Do you know how long?
That too.
That's what I miss more than anything. Cinema.
I think the last thing I saw in cinema was Akira, you know, I think.
Did we talk about Akira?
Yeah.
It came out. Did we do a No.
Yeah, it's a very long time ago.
Okay, it was. I said this. I think I was talking to like my aunt. I think it was a family member, my aunt or my cousin, something like that. I can't remember. It was a while back. But I said like when the pandemic. It was my aunt. Sorry. When the pandemic is over, what we're gonna get is like this massive eruption of like, the only word I can use to describe it is hedonistic activities, where people are gonna like try and ram in everything they kind of wanted to do last year, or even like during the pandemic period, into like maybe like a week. So I'm talking like drinking, I'm talking fornication, I'm talking partying, I'm talking cinema, eating, like whatever it is. Like people are just gonna kind of do like, okay, we're out, there's no pandemic, we can do whatever we want, we're just gonna go wild, go crazy. And I don't know what that's gonna look like, but it's gonna be very interesting, I think, to see.
Like
it's gonna be eat out to help out 100 times well.
Left.
It's good. We're gonna get street parties. I know for sure. Like street parties are gonna happen. You're gonna get hella raves. You're gonna like, it's gonna be mad. But I can't wait to see it.
Cool. Is it main topic time now, guys?
It is main topic time, people. It's main topic time. Luda, what are we talking about today, bro?
So today we'll talk about the MCU films and TV shows that are coming out this year.
2021.
Yeah, this year. 2021.
So,
loads of Star Wars.
Are we talking?
Oh, you're talking about the films. I want to talk about Disney Plus.
Do you know what, Rasheen? I was thinking that, but there was so much that they dropped.
Right enough.
I think that might have to be its own episode. You know, I think next
There'll
episode,
never be peace in the galaxy, guys. Star Wars is going to turn into the Marvel. Like they're going to bleed it dry. Can I just make one point? Can I make one point?
Go.
The only thing I'd say about which is good, like the lineup looks good. I just don't want to see a Skywalker ever again.
Yep.
Just leave it.
Agreed.
Just leave them. Like, I don't want to spoil. No spoilers. Well, sorry, I'm going to spoil it. Has everyone seen the end of Mandalorian?
No, yeah. I haven't. I'm sorry.
You haven't?
I haven't. I'm behind. I'm sorry. I'm behind. I'm behind.
With Luke.
Yeah. Luke. Oh, Ludo, you just spoiled it.
Oh.
So I haven't seen it, bro. Do you know what's mad? Do you know what's mad? Yeah, I've been dodging Mandalorian spoilers for weeks.
And Ludo just went.
You've had plenty of time to watch the Mandalorian.
Listen, I've had plenty of time to go around, but I've dodged every spoiler. Like I didn't even find out about Grogu to the Grogu episode. Like I dodged hella spoilers.
Said one word.
I dodged the reveal of Ahsoka. Like none of that. And then
fair enough.
But anyway,
let's get back on topic.
What I do want to say quickly though is that day when Disney were like, okay, everything's coming out, they were literally like, you guys want content? We'll give you content because but
it's just so cheap, man. Like, I've got a lot to say about, because it's just like it didn't feel good. Like it was just like, again, I'll just say this. I don't want to see another Skywalker again. Like that's like fine. I just don't want to.
Totally agree with you.
There's more interesting stories in the galaxy.
Agreed. But we'll get to the next episode. We'll say all the Disney stuff. That Disney thread that they dropped, we'll say that for next episode. I promise. We'll do it.
Okay.
We'll cover everything.
let's get cracking. What shows are you most excited about to come out this year?
Okay, so let's even address what's coming out this year.
Yeah.
Right? So in January, we've got Wandavision. In March, we've got Falcon and the Winter Soldier. In May, we've got Loki. In May as well, we've got Black Widow. Mm-hmm. In summer, which I'm guessing is like June-ish.
July, yeah.
We've got What If. In July, we've got Shang-Chi, like I've been told it is. In late 2021, which I'm guessing like November time, we've got Miss Marvel. Eternals is November. Hawkeye, again, is late 21. And then Spiderman 3 is in December.
So how are they filming all of this?
Good question. I don't know.
let me get started. For me personally, I would say what I'm looking forward to most is the What If series.
Yeah, same.
Okay.
With the What If series, it does what we do, where we just we bring up ideas from our minds and put it to real life. So what if, like, for example, what if T'Challa was picked up instead of Star-Lord by the Ravagers, stuff like that, cool stuff like that. And what if Bucky was Captain America? So stuff like that. If they get real creative with it, that's what I'm looking forward to the most.
I agree. What if it's probably the one show? If we're gonna do that, what show and what movie we want to see the most? What If is definitely the one show I'm definitely want to see, because again, it's that kind of creativity behind like let's make something up. Let's
be fun, yeah.
Let's chuck away the comic books and just be like, okay, so what? Like Leo said, what if T'Challa was picked up by the Ravagers? What if what's her name? Peggy became the super soldier instead of Steve Rogers, that type of thing. And I don't know how many episodes it's going to be, but I would hope each episode is at least like 30 minutes. I want to be invested in whatever what if universe they create in that episode.
Where you guys at with it being animated?
I like it. It's better because we were talking about it with them being creative. I think with animation, you can push the boundaries a little bit further. You can make it like more unbelievable. It doesn't matter because it's a cartoon. It's just animated. So
like you can do a lot more with animation than you can with like real life. You can push the bar and you don't have to worry too much sensitively about special effects and things like that. Like you can just do whatever the hell you want. And I think that's what makes What If so appealing. And I think they said they're gonna do two seasons. And the first season is like 10 episodes. And I don't know if they've announced the second season, but there's been like rumors and speculation. But like What If has longevity. Like you could do What If for like a solid 4 seasons, I think.
Well, they're so because they could just create the ideas and stories themselves. So
exactly.
Really matter because
like there's no kind of like wrong answer. Like you could have what if, I don't know, if Iron Man was Thor, or like what if Thor joined Hydra? Like, so there's so many like stupid what if questions you could ask, and like to see that creative process go about creating a story and creating a narrative would be amazing. Like they could do whatever they want.
Also, you can get something like say for example, what if Iron Man was Thor? It might change. It might become a thing where Iron Man becomes so popular as Iron Man 4 type thing, and like it might lead to a whole thing where comics start making books about that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what movies would you say you're excited for this year?
Is that the end of the year? But Spiderman 3, I guess.
Yeah.
Looking at that list, there's not. I'm more excited for the shows than I am for the movies.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm not really excited for Eternals or Spider-Man at all.
I'm intrigued by Shang-Chi. I want to see what that film's going to be.
I've got no excitement for that whatsoever.
I never said I was excited. I said I'm intrigued. Only because.
Why are you intrigued, Gone?
Because a lot of the narrative around Shang-Chi is very much similar to what was around when obviously they dropped Black Panther, because Black Panther was majority black. Mm-hmm. Shang-Chi is now obviously majority Asian. Chinese, Asian, that kind of demographic there. So it's going to be interesting to see if there are going to be any parallels between the narratives used to describe the movie. What's going to be like the critical response to the movie? Are people going to talk about its impact? That type of thing. Yeah. Is it going to transcend race and boundaries like people say they did with Black Panther? Because whenever you have a film where you've got a film like this, that's majority a particular one demographic, is always going to be
majority and minority, basically.
There we go. A majority and minority. It's always going to be this conversation about representation and why it's important. But I'm just hoping that it's all positive. Yeah. Because what you don't want to then happen is like you have Shang-Chi be negative, in a sense where the critical response to it is negative, and then what happens is, which is what I'm concerned about, is that you get this, oh well, you guys never said this about Black Panther. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then it becomes this whole discourse about, I'm thinking way ahead. I'm being kind of pessimistic.
Black v this, v that.
Exactly.
Me personally, I'm kind of worried. It's kind of because of this year, the way this year is going to be. Probably not gonna be a lot of theaters open and whatnot. Shang-Chi probably could be done a disservice at the box office, because obviously Black Panther did crazy numbers. So obviously the Far Eastern Asian community might not be able to support it as they want to, because the cinemas just won't be open. So are people look at it like that? Say it doesn't do the best, just money wise. Are people gonna go, okay, we did this. Now this is the reason why we don't do Hollywood Far East Asian movies.
It's a first
because bro, you gotta understand, before Black Panther, people were saying black movies don't sell well.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
People were saying that. We had obviously that it was fake news basically, but stuff like this can further embolden people with those ignorant views to say, these movies, these diverse movies won't sell well because that's what people don't want. But the truth is, when different times where people can't go to support us that they want to.
But we know for a fact that the Chinese market is probably is the key demographic that they want to hear when it comes to any movie release, period. Because if it doesn't appeal to the Chinese, you're not going to make that money. Mm-hmm. So if this film, because the film probably will drop in Chinese theaters, it's going to happen there regardless. It's more about Western, Chinese and Asian people in the West can be able to see this film in cinemas. Because what you know what happened is that they drop it on Disney Plus and you're gonna have to pay like $15.99 for it, which no one wants to do that. People want to go to the cinema to see it because the cinema experience is different from watching at home. So if the film's not afforded that luxury, in a sense, for people to be able to see it in the cinema, it will do a disservice. It will hinder numbers, and it will change the response people have toward the film. I definitely want to see it. I'm interested by the character of Shang-Chi because I don't know anything about him. Mm-hmm. But again, a lot of these films, in fact, all of these films have to be seen in the cinema. And if people aren't afforded that because of COVID and the pandemic, it's going to affect people's reactions to the film. And I think, I know we're kind of a bit of a tangent, but I think that's also why there's issues, but people have issues with Wonder Woman. Mm-hmm. Because people weren't able to see it in the cinema. Because I think everyone that saw it in the cinema, I think, had a very different experience to people who had to watch it at home or watch it via like a bootleg cut. Do you know what I mean? So
that even leads to Ryan's point. Like, for example, in the cinemas, I bet the slow-mo scenes are probably more epic than when watching it at home.
Yeah,
I would say, Timmy, you probably enjoy the slow-mo scenes when you watched it in cinema compared to Ryan when he watched it at home. Like, it just doesn't hit the same.
It doesn't. And
that also leads to my next question: has Corona changed the landscape and how we consume MCU films going forward?
I hope only temporarily, because I mean, if you look at what HBO Max and Warner Bros. Were doing, where they were going to release all the movies to be available to stream.
Yeah, that's what they are doing.
They was going to release all of the movies. Not everyone was obviously happy with that decision.
Of course.
I think, it wouldn't have been good. It wouldn't have been good I don't think it would be good. It would be harmful. It would damage it. Like the enjoyment of going to the cinema, that experience, I think these movies need that to survive as well. Like, I don't think we can consume all of it through a streaming service. It's just not the same.
Because obviously they go through all the hassle of using particular cameras, trying to get that Dolby sound quality and this and the other for you to get the cinema experience, because it adds to the quality of the film. So if you now have to shoot all that with all that, production value and stuff, and then have someone watch it, in 720p on their phone, like it does take away from the quality and experience of the film. So I really do hope that they can get cinemas back open. I don't know when it's going to happen for us here in the UK, but if anything, I will personally wait till cinemas are open to watch certain films if possible. Because
for example, the first in this docket, the first Marvel movie coming out is in May in Black Widow.
I think they'll push it back. If the pandemic is still around, and people and businesses and stuff have to stay closed, I think they'll push it back again, because I think they'll want people to watch the film in the cinema.
But how much would they push it back? Would they push it back to where I don't know if Marvel have done this. I have to fact check this. But have they ever released a movie in the same, like a Marvel movie in the same month? Because you understand, Black Widow comes out in May and Shang-Chi comes out in July.
Didn't they do that with
And you don't want movies competing with each other from the same universe, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that. It depends.
It's a sticky situation. It's like it's a sticky situation. It's just a bit like, I think that this is what they sit and they're trying to work out now, because they're trying, like, not now, but I think this is what most of their job is being like, is trying to figure out these days. Like, what should we do? How should we do it? When should we do it? Like, I think they're watching each other. I think they're waiting to see what Warner Brothers is going to do, and Warner Brothers is seeing what Disney's going to do. Disney's obviously tried it with Mulan, and it just didn't work.
Yeah, the Mulan experiment.
It's free now. You can watch it now.
Yeah, but how you put something on a streaming service, you got to pay even more.
Yeah. So it was $11.99 or something like that, on top of your $6.99 that you pay for it.
I think in their head it was a case like, okay, well, if people desperately want to watch this film before like everyone else gets access to it on the site, you're gonna pay a premium, which I think is kind of similar to like, going to the cinema to watch the film, and then when the film's out like a couple months later on streaming services, you can then watch it for your regular $5.99 per month type thing. They tried it, it failed. They shouldn't do it again. Pure simple.
Next question: If you had creative control, what Marvel TV show would you greenlight and why?
Oh God, that's a tough one. because so many have been greenlit already.
I was about to say, like, I'm looking forward to Loki, you know, like I'm looking forward to that. I enjoy a character. I'm worried that he's going to be, I am a bit worried and concerned that he might be too fleshed out, that we're going to get a bit, again, we're going to see behind the curtain too much. And then the stuff is just going to be a little bit like, it just doesn't feel, I don't know, as authentic. Or I'm worried maybe because of Daredevil as well. After a while, for me, I didn't enjoy it after a while. I really enjoyed the first season and the second season, but then after a while, just wasn't as invested. But yeah, I can't think of. I was thinking of Loki because I really enjoyed.
That's actually a good question, because I've had a problem with this with a lot of, like, obviously comic book shows where after the first 2 seasons, I can no longer stay invested in it. Like, that's a big issue with comic book. For some reason, comic book, like TV shows, I don't think they can last like long, like 5+ seasons.
Yeah,
I don't know for what reason, but for some reason, I just can't stay connected to a comic book show. Like, for example, let me just bring it out. Like The Wire, that's 5 seasons, right? I can stay connected to The Wire for 5 seasons. Flash, after the first season, I stopped caring. Arrow, after the first season, I stopped caring. Daredevil, after the second season, I was like, it's becoming a chore now.
Is it a case of Reggie?
Oh, sorry. I was going to say because it's so formulaic after a while, and maybe if you don't enjoy all of the characters, then you're just a bit like, meh. Like you don't really care about. Do you know what I mean? I feel like, nah. I was going to say if there was like maybe like I feel like if there's chemistry between the main villain, and the hero, maybe you want to see it happen. But if it's just kind of it's like a case of the week, gets kind of like Daredevil after a while just became a bit like it was moving away from the story. Or like even with Jessica Jones, there were some episodes where it was just a bit like, all right, what's that got to do with, like, I don't really care. Like, I just want to know where she's going on her story. And I think obviously to pad stuff out and to make those episodes, they have to add more things in. And I think if you don't really care about that, then like with the Arrow as well, I feel like the Arrowverse is a bit different because, like, to me anyway, it seems like it's a bit more of a teen drama soap kind of thing. And they've kind of made it. Please tell me if I'm wrong, but that's how I kind of see it.
It felt like
it's the CW, and also CW that specialize in teen dramas and that. I would even say Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. After a while, I was like, ugh.
Yeah, and I do think it's that case of the week. I feel like when you come out of that main path that you kind of know that they're on, like after, I think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a good example because sometimes. I think it can happen to any show. I'm trying to think, even I don't know if anyone watched Fringe, but obviously there's going to be some episodes where you just don't really care about this week's story. So when it's a case of the week, it's just a bit like, I don't care about this. Like, yeah.
Do you think in regards to like the Marvel Netflix shows, do you think them not being part of, like, I guess the main Marvel universe affected people's relationship with the shows? Do you feel like people were like, okay,
100%.
Yeah. So
they had like they would call Captain America the flag waver or something silly like that. They refer to the Hulk as the big green guy, and like that. It's just not good, in it. We can all like, it's not good. We just see that and we're like, well, why wouldn't you even refer to him properly? It's so half-hearted. It's such a half-hearted approach. Like, if you're going to connect it, do it properly.
Yeah, I feel like their point of that is to kind of bring home to the audience that, you know, while in our world these characters are the biggest characters, to Jessica Jones and Luke Cage, these people are just like, yeah, I mean, it's great that these guys are helping saving the world, but right now in Harlem, I've got this going on. So maybe I feel like they were trying to have, like, make it a little bit of a joke.
I get you.
But if that makes sense, like trying to be like a little bit tongue in cheek, bit cheeky, bit funny, but yeah, obviously maybe it didn't drop very well.
Okay, back to Ludo's original question though. What show would you make if you could? Because I'm struggling to think of a show.
Ryan, you should answer it.
To be fair, if I had to pick, it would have been Moon Knight, which they are doing. I'm happy.
Why though?
Why? Because we've seen a ton of characters now in the MCU. If I wanted to greenlight my own show, it would definitely be a character we've not seen yet. obviously we haven't seen him. It would have been him or Blade. I would have had to pick between them two.
That's what I was going to say, actually. I was going to say,
and I got both, so I'm happy.
A Blade series would be good.
Moonlight does attack on it built his character on the mental health aspect as well, and it brings that to the light as well. That also there's very different, forms of mental health issues that people go through, and even like heroes can go through them as well, or anti-heroes, whatever you like to portray them. But me, my answer to that question, what Marvel TV show I'd greenlight? I'll probably greenlight a Beta Ray, TV show,
What, Beta Ray Bill?
Yeah, Beta Ray Bill TV show, yeah.
Okay, I can see
that. And I'll do
that
that because obviously with things going forward, movies like it's kind of unlikely we're gonna get like big movies like that. So I'll say Beta Ray film, a Beta Ray film where obviously we see the start from him and the Corbinites and how he gets the hammer and just what his journeys with the hammer and him having a hammer and being worthy and just doing things across the galaxy, helping people and just helping different races of people.
That would be good series. I think with the TV shows are a good opportunity. I mean, they've done it with the movies, but I think the TV shows are a good opportunity to introduce very lesser known characters. They definitely took a gamble with the Guardians of the Galaxy because that could have been a TV show, but they took a gamble with them and that paid off. They're taking a gamble again with the Eternals that hopefully will pay off. But I think the TV shows are a good safe spot to introduce characters that people may not know about. They've got Moonlight coming out. They've got She-Hulk. They've got Ironheart coming out. Miss Marvel. Like all these
they're going to be introducing a new Hawkeye. The Hawkeye show. I'm excited about.
Yeah,
is that Hawkeye show?
I am. Yeah, I think it'll be good. I definitely think it'll be good. I definitely think it'll be good. I think it's more about
me personally. I fell off Hawkeye when he was meant to die in Age of Ultron.
But exactly. But it's not him. It's a new Hawkeye, isn't it?
Who is it? His daughter.
Yeah, exactly. If it was him, if he was like the main character, if he was the main Hawkeye, I wouldn't really have any interest at all. But because he's passing the mantle on, I want to see how that happens.
True.
We ain't spoke about the Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I was about to say that.
Do you know what? God,
no, I was just about to say what.
Because I saw the trailer for it, and I can't lie, I was a bit underwhelmed by the trailer. Maybe because I need to see the actual show itself, but the trailer didn't really excite me in a sense. I don't know whether it's missing something. It might just be a bad trailer. It could be that. I'm not dogging the show at all. Like I want to see the show. I'm excited for the show, but the trailer didn't really, like, even seeing Baron Zemo there, like, didn't do anything for me in a sense. I don't know, man. I'm just
If they do it going through the show, I would definitely like them to go into deep dive into obviously the Winter Soldier's his demons, what he's going through, his PTSD and other things going through. There. If they're not going through that, then I ain't gonna care. If it's just gonna be like, them two, like a bromance, all funny joke type things, then it has to explore the dynamic. It's funny in the movies, but in the TV show, I want to go deep and flesh these things out.
Ryan, what you saying?
Yeah, I say I mean, it's got a big chance to explore the dynamic between the two. I mean, you remember when they met in Civil War, I think the joke was that they kind of didn't get on at first.
Yeah.
And now everything's happened, and then obviously Steve's passed the mantle on, and obviously I think Bucky kind of accepted it wasn't going to go to him anyway. But it will be interesting to explore that dynamic further. Like, maybe is Bucky actually upset that he wasn't given it, or does he fully agree with the decision? Or does Sam doubt himself at times? If they don't go,
they have to explore that.
They'll probably be disappointed for me, but I think they will.
Yeah, I don't want it to be like a knockoff version of Rush Hour, which is just two guys making jokes and that.
I don't think.
Yeah, exactly, for sure.
Is it perceived as it's going to be funny?
No, I don't think so. I think the signs are it's going to be quite serious.
Right.
So basically, what we need to make sure that they explore is like their interpersonal relationship with themselves, in terms of like Sam being the new Captain America, the relationship between them, whether or not one or the other feels like they deserve it. I've said this before, I think in other episodes, I still think we need to make sure that we get this outer world perception of Sam being the new Cap. Whether or not it addresses race, it's not like, I'm not fussed by that, but they definitely need to be like, okay, well, how does the world perceive
him, Captain America,
as a new Captain America? Because we had Steve Rogers, he was the guy stuck in the iceberg who came back, America's greatest hero, blah 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 blah. Like, so like now that the mantle's been passed on, how does the world perceive Sam? Does the world think Sam deserves the mantle? Does the world think you know, the mantle should be left alone. Like, how does the government like feel about it? Because obviously, you know,
it was wanted for a while as well.
It was wanted for a while. Obviously, Captain America was a government program to begin with, in a sense.
Yeah.
So like all these kind of other factors that have to be included in this story for it to be a worthwhile story. And I don't know whether or not they're going to include those things, but we'll see.
Like, I don't want it to be just mission based. Okay, we've got this mission to do.
It can't be. It can't be. We're not
like really go into these characters and things that how they affect the world around them.
There's sometimes when I wish that it wasn't owned by Disney, because comparing, because like as you just said, if we could talk about politics and like even if we do have to mention his blackness, I don't like Disney would never touch that. I don't think they would touch it to like so shallow. It wouldn't be that deep. It's such a shame that it couldn't be like the Watchmen or like the Boys, and just like a bit like just go in and just just go all in, and you see all of it. Because as you just said, Ludo, if I'm honest, that's the kind of feeling that I get from it. Like when I haven't watched a new trailer, but when I've read about it, it just seems like I feel like it's going to be just them using the license. So they're just going to use like the Winter Soldier and Bucky, and then they're just going to do missions. And I just feel like that, like I would love to be wrong. I'd love to be wrong, like I do, but I just feel like to a certain extent, I don't know. I just kind of wished it could be as R-rated as it probably should be.
Has the MCU ever just raced in any kind of way? Like not alien race, but like has it just like race in like, you know, black, brown?
That's the thing. They're all up for talking about alien races. That's the thing. Like in Guardians of the Galaxy, they're always cracking a joke here and there about some race that doesn't really exist. But when it comes to humans, I don't think they ever, like even in Black Panther.
I mean, there was
maybe saying like oppressor and that, but they haven't really like fully. That's actually a good question. I don't know if they actually ever like spoke about it.
I don't think they have. They
because not to like keep banging on the same point, but
I guess I could say in Agents of Shield, what's the name? He'd call what's the name a Nazi.
Okay, just saying Nazis is one thing. Like I don't. They've addressed Nazis, but they never just like the whole. Like,
but addressing Nazis are okay because obviously that's what Captain America was made for. So it's like, well, do you know what I mean? So it's like that's all right. And Nazis are always bad. Nazis are always going to be bad. So it's always funny to beat them up, and it's always funny to like kill them and stuff. But then, I don't think they.
I don't think so. No. But even with the Nazism, they never addressed like, you know, white supremacy, white power. So it was never there. But and like I said, not to keep banging on the same point, but like, I don't see how you can have a black man take on the mantle of Captain America and there not be some kind of discussion around it. I know it's a comic book movie, but there is also a sense of realism behind these comic book movies as well.
But I feel like even the reaction was enough to be like, people was like, oh, he can't be Captain, not because he's black, but people just didn't take it seriously.
Yeah,
people just didn't take him seriously, and it is that was because he was black. Like I don't care what anyone says.
When Captain America. Even when Sam first became Captain America in the comics, that received a lot of backlash in the first place.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you just ignore that, you know?
Yeah. That's interesting.
I think that's a problem. I think that's the problem with Disney slightly, because it's like Blade. What's that going to look like?
I understand that comics in that is a way of escapism and for a lot of people, but you think you can just ignore these subplots within these shows, though?
But Watchmen was an escape, so is The Boys, but it's still good, and it's still like, because it doesn't take you for an idiot. Do you get what I mean? It doesn't pretend like stuff doesn't actually happen. You enjoy it because there's characters that you can relate to, and you know, there's it's not like we want to talk about like hard slavery or anything like that, but you know, we got to address it.
Blade has to be R-rated, man. Blade can't be safe. I want to see guts.
There's no flexibility.
There's not.
It's an 18. If not, they literally can't do it. There's no way they'll be able to do it justice.
It's gonna be, especially because the way these guys Blade, they'll cuss that out of the water.
Like I don't know whether Disney want to be playing it safe, but they can't with certain characters. They can't play it safe with Moon Knight. They can't play it safe with Blade. They can't play it safe with even She-Hulk in a sense, you can't really play it too safe. Like they need to be able to be like, okay, yes, we're a family-friendly company, but you've taken on these IPs that in a sense are not for the family. And that should be okay. You should be able to be like, you know, well, this show is not for the kids. Keep the kids at home and create the content that needs to be made, because you can't make a Blade film.
I never do it.
You can't make a Blade film without guts and gore, without the blood, without the swearing.
It's getting chopped
off.
And that's what I'm worried, but
without addressing his blackness, like you can't do that. You can't. It's not going to work.
I'm worried about the future of it, because then everything's going to be the same. Everything will literally, it will just be dressed up. It will just be dressed up differently in different characters, but everyone's going to be the same. Because
that's always been my main problem with the Disney and Marvel copies, is that it just feels the same.
Mm-hmm. And that's
When did Disney buy Marvel? Because I always feel like I missed this period I don't know whether I missed the announcement or I missed where it happened. When did Disney buy Marvel?
2008.
Was it? I swear it was like one of the Iron Man after
one of the 2008, 2009, around there.
After Thor, after like Thor 2.
No, it must be before that.
No, because I swear Thor 2 wasn't a Disney film. Like I thought it was made by something else. But I'm not.
Let's check Google. Okay, so
2009.
2009 for
Ludo was close. 2008.
Right now.
For 4 billion, yeah. I don't know. I just find it interesting because like I said, they've taken all these IPs and stuff, and in a sense, they've played it safe for 11 years.
And it works. Like it's nothing that there isn't anything where we're crying out for like.
I think with the whole first arc, the lead up to Endgame, that whole story, it's acceptable that it's what they've done is fine. But now they've done that, they got it out of the way. Now they've got to switch it up. Now they have to be.
You got to push boundaries now.
I mean, they did give us like beheading Thanos in Endgame. Maybe that's them testing the waters, pushing the envelope. I don't know, but like they've got these real.
Beheading a big purple guy is different from beheading.
Of course. But like I said, you've got these real world characters now, because I know we're going into space a lot with the movies and stuff, but there are still aspects of the Marvel cinematic universe that are based on Earth with real people on Earth or in America, whatever you want to call it, or on the planet. So they should be able to address these real world issues as well. I'm not saying they need to make a whole entire season of the Winter Soldier and Falcon. I forgot the name, sorry. Falcon and Winter Soldier, and make it all about race. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is like, if you've got these real world people in this real world setting, dealing with real world problems while dealing with this fantasy problem of becoming, Captain America, even if it's like 2 minutes, just be like, I don't know, maybe it's B-roll or something, but you can't, I don't know why it's just, I'm so focused on it, but maybe because everything that's happened in America, everything that's been going on,
especially
Trump and BLM and everything else, but you can't have this black man take on this prominent role that was embodied by a white man for nearly 80 plus years.
And also represents a white institution.
Exactly.
The American flag is,
you have to mention it somewhere. It has to be somewhere, even if it's like, I don't know.
I would say even if it's like looking at a phone and saying, "Oh, I'm getting a lot of, trolls getting at me" or something like that,
Something. Just make us be like, okay, cool. So at least we know, like in the outer realm, in the outer world, there is a perception of, why is this black man being now Captain America? Even if it's for like a second, give us that, like draw us into this world of that you're trying to build, and it'll be fine. But I don't think they could ignore it.
Like I would even set the scene. For example, say Bucky's looking at his phone and says, "Oh, I'm getting a lot of ignorant messages," and Bucky goes, "I guess the world hasn't changed that much since I was in the ice."
There we go. Done.
I should be a screenwriter.
So that would be enough for you to.
Do you know, it's not necessarily enough, but at least I know they've addressed it. They've addressed it. So I can't now I can't say they haven't addressed it. I can at least say they've addressed it, and then I can say they should address it better.
You know what's gonna happen?
Because also it brings up the point where people say racism hasn't changed. It's just hasn't gone. It's just changed forms. You can just go like that. And Bucky, because obviously Bucky's over 100 plus years old, so you can go, I guess the world hasn't changed much since when I was young.
Yeah.
So
it probably will be. It probably will be that subtle, and then there'll be millions of articles of people saying that they should have done it this way or that
think
way.
pieces and think pieces and
Everyone's gonna make an essay about it.
You want all the TV shows that are coming out this year to be connected to each other and possible crossovers, so you don't to be self-contained.
No, they can't be self-contained. I think they need to at least address. Actually, wait. When you say connect to each other, do you mean
should the
connected to all the other TV shows?
So
for example, would you want obviously Loki to be connected to Falcon and Winter Soldier or Wandavision and so forth?
Only if it makes sense, I think.
Only if it makes sense. Only if it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, it's fine. As long as,
like, for example, say Miss Marvel and Hawkeye, we know obviously they're also both on the Young Avengers, so you wouldn't mind Easter eggs being dropped in either one. Doesn't have to be a full-on crossover, but they can just reference it. It makes it feel more real for us. It's easier for us to piece stories together or to talk about what we think might happen later down the line.
No, I agree. I don't feel like they need to have this kind of, or like, this episode is connected to that episode of Loki and that episode of Hawkeye and that episode of Miss Marvel. No. As long as it feels like it's within the wider MCU type thing, fine. I don't need like a whole interlocking web of connections and Easter eggs and
But isn't that what made the cinematic universe really likable for everybody? Because that's why everybody stayed after to see what the post-credit scene was going to be, because sometimes it gives you a little bit, or what I mean? Like,
I think the cinematic films are different because it was telling one long story. If you really think about it, it was one giant story with different if you want to call it chapters, as opposed to different stories being told and then trying to force a connection between them. Because really, really, truly, the only one that I can kind of think that makes sense is Loki, and a reference to of like the Inhumans in Loki in Miss Marvel. That's maybe as interconnected as I can see. I can't see it beyond that personally. It doesn't have to like feel like all the shows are deeply connected, but we know they're part of the MCU. That's enough.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. Do you think they'll eventually cue and reference Netflix shows or characters?
No. Aside from okay, do you know what I think is gonna happen? Because Daredevil is gonna be in Spider-Man 3, and Spider-Man 3 is very much alluding to this whole multiverse type thing.
Yeah.
They're gonna do some bullshit, right? And have the Netflix series of shows be in an alternate universe. That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna.
I think that's pretty much confirmed.
But that wouldn't make sense though. How would it be in an alternate universe if they already reference certain things? That obviously the big green guy incident.
But exactly, because the green guy could be the green guy, the Hulk that they're referencing doesn't necessarily have to be our Hulk. The New York incident that they mentioned doesn't necessarily have to be our New York incident. Maybe that's the only way I see him doing it. I don't see him doing it any other way.
Yeah, it's quite easy for them to work on it like that. It's quite easy. It's what makes most sense if they're going to keep him, and it looks like they are, because obviously they've got Daredevil. They can't have Daredevil and then say he's there by himself. All the other stars from the Netflix shows, they don't exist either. Exactly. If they confirm him, then they also confirm the others at the same time.
It's going to be multiverse theory. It's we're at this point where the only way they're going to introduce all these other characters and stuff is multiverse theory, because again, how they're going to introduce the Fantastic Four, like where has Reed Richards been? Like, do you know the issue is? You've got so many characters that are based in New York.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I would say in the comments, living in New York must be hell, bro.
Mate.
Doctor Strange.
All these New York-based characters, right? There's no way you can introduce all these other New York-based characters without multiverse theory, because it's going to be a question of where the hell have you been?
Yeah.
Unless it's a case of like with Reed Richards and the Fantastic Four, where it's like, okay, they've seen everything that's happened going on.
They get powers later.
And they get powers later. Fine, I get that. But you can't then not have, again, like Daredevil. Where's Daredevil been in New York? Why is the Spider-Man never referenced him?
He's just been in Queens.
literally stayed in Queens. Never left it. Like,
stay in your lane. There's an
invisible barrier, just like, can't go past this point. Because I don't know, man. But everything's gonna be multiverse theory, man. It's the only thing that makes sense. It's the easiest thing to do. it appeases everyone. It opens up many questions and things like that.
Does it?
Does it? Does it feel cheap? Do you guys feel let down?
Like, no, do you know what? If you just talk about the Spider-Man movie in particular, does that really excite anyone? I'm sorry, but I don't find it exciting at all.
You don't.
It was literally, it was the most easiest call to. It was so easy to call that player after Into the Spider-Verse. It was like, okay, now you've seen it in animated. Now the live action is going to happen. It was so predictable, and I don't think they'll be able to execute it well. I don't think they can pull all these different characters from different universes and explain it within one movie.
I think it's going to be a case of there is a villain messing with the multiverse. Spider-Man's overwhelmed. Multiverse holes pop up or bleeding through, whatever you want to call it, however you want to explain it. All these different Spider-Man appear out of nowhere. I'm Peter Parker. No, I'm Peter Parker. Blah, 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 blah. Then somehow their Spider-Man villains bleed through to our universe, and then there's a whole like Sinister Six multiverse versus like Spider-Man multiverse, and then there's a big battle, and then somehow Daredevil appears from somewhere.
You see, for me, that's just way too much.
And then roll the credits, give us the 2 post-credit scenes, and then I leave the cinema.
What the Spider-Man movie should have been.
Make you feel a bit sad that you just kind of like you're able to check lists off and be like, that's probably going to happen.
Yeah,
there's no
exactly.
anymore.
For me though, but if you look at how Far From Home finished with Spider-Man's identity being revealed and he's like a criminal or something now.
Yeah.
Starting the movie, that would have been like for him spending the movie trying to clear his name, or him actually dealing with the fact that everyone knows he's Spider-Man.
That would be the case, though. That must be the case.
But for the first 2 films, I don't think they actually touched on him that much.
Right.
And then in the 3rd movie, where they finally get a chance to, or they can a lot more, they just bring everyone else into it.
Yeah.
Then they can just focus on the new Spider-Man.
Keep going, keep it moving.
I get you. That makes sense. I don't know what to expect, but that's what I see in my head, because obviously the issue is because they revealed all these other characters like this what's his name? Tobey Maguire Spider-Man and Andrew Garfield. Like once you start dropping all these names,
Spider-Man 3.
Exactly. When you start dropping all these names, it's easy to piece together what they're trying to do. Because there's no way you can just have them as like Easter eggs. They're going to be,
of course,
a part of the film. So it's easy to be like, okay, well, bleed through effect, and new Spider-Man come in and blah, blah, blah. It's easy to predict at this point. The less we know, the harder it is to predict. But the more we know, it's easy to predict the outcome of the film, what's going to happen, at least in a sense. They might still surprise us, don't get me wrong. But I will say this. If you're giving us multiverse Spider-Man, you have to give us Miles Morales. And if you don't give us Miles Morales,
I think they're keeping it.
I will show up.
Like, if they're going to make...
I don't think they even need to do it through multiverse, to be honest.
Yeah.
No, of course.
His uncle was confirmed to exist in...
But we haven't...
The uncle's confirmed. Charles Gambino, right? He played the uncle.
Yeah, exactly. But we haven't seen... Exist, so we don't even need multiverse.
Well, yeah.
And we had the 5-year time gap from, obviously, the snap. So they can explain how he's older. So I don't think they even need the multiverse.
They're going to rush you, Sam?
I was just going to say, if they're going to make Captain America black and they know that it's a good money maker, like I'm going to look at it from a business perspective, then they know, I think they're going to keep Miles as secret as possible. They've probably casted him already. They've got his story down, but they're going to, they've got him. Yeah. They've got him. I know they do.
Cool. Let's move on to obviously finish off the topic that today now. Let's listen to questions. So the first one, M_FB1. What do you guys think about Keaton being in DCEU and now the possibility of a Batman Beyond film?
I'm just at this point. Like,
right.
I'm interested. Like I said, I don't know if they'll be able to pull it off, but yes, it's
I'm interested, and obviously in the Batman Beyond film, I would like to see who they'll play to be Terry McGinnis. I would love to see that. I've always been interested about obviously Batman Beyond, obviously it being in the future. Anything futuristic, I'm more interested. Like Spider-Man 2099 stuff like that. I'm just interested in everything. How the future would look in these movie makers' eyes. So I'm interested, man. But Keaton being the main Batman, that's what I'm not too sure. Like he's 82. Like,
if they come with a good story.
Yeah, unless he's been a mentor, I don't care.
Yeah, I read that. That's what I read in the article, that it was like a mentor type role in it. So we'll see. Anything
other than that, then I don't know. I think I just hit old Batman and just think Bat Family. If I don't get Bat Family, I'm not really invested. I want to see some Robins. I want to see some Batwomen. I want to see some Batgirls. Like I want to see some Nightwings. Like I don't know.
I think that's what the video games are for. So.
Signal.
So, like, give me all of that. Give me all of that. I'm here for it.
Killua CFC. What do you guys think of Attack on Titan right now? It started off slow, to be honest, but I know the next episode is gonna be a badness.
I still have issues with the 16 episode count. I still have an issue with that, but I do think we're gonna see some crazy fights. I guess
there's also that. Yeah, if there's not as many episodes, then shit's gonna start happening soon.
Sooner rather than later. I'm just annoyed that obviously a lot of the people that read manga, they've been tweeting about there's so much stuff that helps the story move forward that they've taken out.
Yeah, there is,
and that just stuff like that can ruin the perception of anime. Because Attack on Titan, they're trying to be like the best anime ever. Stuff like that can ruin the perception and the finishing storyline of it.
I mean, for me, whenever I have an anime and a manga, I always weigh up, should I just watch the anime or should I read the manga? Because for different animes and different mangas, it works differently. And for Attack on Titan, I'm now glad that I read it. I would have seen it as if I hadn't read it, then that's an L, because it would have diminished my experience of enjoying it. You know what I'm saying?
Like, so I've not read the manga, but I have read practically every Wikipedia page related to Attack on Titan. Like, I don't know why I don't read the mangas, but I do like deep dives into wiki pages for anime.
Yeah, I'm the same. I
don't know why, but the stuff that I've read on the Wikipedia pages and the stuff they missed out in the anime, I'm just like, you should have included that, because that bit was great. That bit's great. I don't know whether that takes away from my experience reading the Wikipedia pages, but the Wikipedia pages are like deep dive, like condensed stories without like the panels and stuff. So, but yeah, like I don't know, man. I'm apprehensive at this point about the show, because we're all 4 episodes in, so that means we've only got 12 episodes left. How are they going to include everything? And the issue is the way they do the episodes as well. They're very drawn out. The episodes are very, very drawn out. It's not like it's like chop, next thing. They're very elongated episodes with many things happening, with a lot of dialogue. And it's like, how do you then condense the rest of the manga with this 4-year time gap as well into 12 episodes? How is that going to happen? How is that even possible? But at this point, we have to wait and see. We just have to wait and see.
I mean, I'm still confident it will be good. I'm still confident the anime will be good regardless. But like, the manga, for me, it's one of the best mangas I've read. For me, I'm saying the rate it's going at when it finishes, it's a 10 out of 10. So then if the anime is any less than that, then it's a bit annoying.
Like, Attack on Titan needs to finish with it being the greatest anime ever made, point blank period. Like, that's the level.
And that's what it should be.
Like, Attack on Titan should be the undisputed greatest anime that's ever been made, ever. Like, that's if it doesn't end like with that perception, then there's a problem. Because I know we talk about the length of times of anime and stuff like that, but this anime has been going on for 7 years. But it's been the hype, the scale, the critical response, the social media response of this. Like, it's not a small thing. This anime is not a joke. From that first episode where we saw that Colossal Titan peering over that wall, it's built such a hype that it has to end with it being the greatest anime ever made. And if it doesn't, there's going to be a problem. Simple as. Russian, you're on mute. What happened?
That's what we said about Game of Thrones.
Exactly. Game of Thrones.
So I don't want to ruin everybody's, but it sounds a bit like.
No, you can't ruin it anyway. I read the manga, so I'm good.
I hope that it is one of the greatest animes ever made, and my fingers are double, triple crossed for you.
Alright, cool. That's us done for the day then. But I would say this, obviously, we're back on that. Obviously, you get the episode when you get it. Don't forget the Nerd Council hashtag.
Do you know why I find that funny? Because they are listening to the episode right now. If you read it like that, they're listening to the episode. So them saying, or you saying they get it when they get it, they've got it already.
They've already got it. Yeah.
They've already got it.
They already got it, yeah. But yeah, don't forget to use the Nerd Council hashtag. Don't forget to follow all the socials. The Nerd Council _on Twitter. The Nerd Council on Instagram.
And we're also on Facebook.
Yeah.
LinkedIn, if you want to talk business. Where else are we? Bloody hell. That's it. Yeah. Obviously, like if you have any listener questions that if you want us to answer on the podcast, drop us a DM, out on Twitter, out on Facebook, out anywhere. Pop us an email. I think you can send questions in on the website too. I'll double check that. Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Follow us on Twitch. You see my face there. And yeah, like I know we always say this, but we've always got stuff in the works for you guys. COVID ending pending. We've still got stuff planned for 2021. Hopefully we can do everything that we had planned for last year, this year. Hopefully we can go outside and do like physical events. We want to bring, obviously.
We want to see you guys again.
We want to see you guys again because obviously listen, the quiz night needs to come back. We want to start hosting gaming tournaments. We want to start hosting panels again. These kind of things. So like, hopefully, once the pandemic ends, we'll get back to
panoramic pending,
panoramic pending, Pinocchio pending, all them things there.
Maybe we could do a quiz online.
That's hard though. Do you know how? Because I have been.
We'll talk about that later.
Trying to organize it. It's hard. It's not trying to do stuff online. Let me tell you, as a content creator, trying to do stuff online is not easy. It's one of the hardest things to try and do. Like when we did the men's mental health awareness. What was it? Men's mental health forum event that we did with GameSpot.
What was it?
That was one of the hardest things that we've had to do today. And it's not like doing digital events is not easy. You think it's easier than the physical one. Nah, it's much harder because there's logistics behind it and there's cameras and there's internet and then lighting and blah, 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 blah. With physical stuff, we can do it easy, find a venue, put some seats out, hand out some bottles, and then everyone's happy. But we definitely got stuff planned for this year, guys. We promise. We're back with a moderate bang. I won't say a big bang, moderate bang.
Well, yeah, we have podcasts every week, yeah?
Every week?
No,
twice.
Can anyone hear me?
We heard you, but do you know what? At least twice a month.
Twice a month.
We get podcasts.
Yeah.
I thought it was every week.
We can try for every week. Because we're not really doing anything much at this point.
No promises.
I think it's depending on content, what's come out, blah blah blah. But we'll definitely do a podcast at least twice a month for you guys, as always.
At a minimum.
If anything else comes out in between those points, we'll definitely jump a podcast episode. If there's anything worth talking about, if you guys want to come on the podcast as guests as well, let us know. We're opening up the discussion to guests again because last year was a bit more difficult. We're not having guests on the podcast. It allows us to talk about stuff all the time. So let us know. DM, email, Twitter, Facebook.
Let us know what topic you'd like to talk about if you want to come on as well.
Absolutely.
Cool. Over and out.
We're done, people. Peace out. Are you a content creator looking for some new kit? Well, ELGATO has a quality range of products just for you. That's right, ELGATO isn't just for gaming content. From the chroma key green screen, the key light which provides studio quality lighting, and of course the new Waveron microphone providing outstanding quality audio, ELGATO is there to meet all your content creation needs. Visit elgato.com and check out the full range of products for more information. And a big shout out to ELGATO for supporting us.